कुञ्ज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन य- यमुनातीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज बिहारी जय राधा गोकुल नंद राधा गोकुल नंद राधा गोकुल नंद श्री राधे जय राधा लंदनीश्वर राधा लंदनीश्वर राधा लंदनीश्वर श्री राधे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधा माधव श्री राधे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर श्री राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय सुदर्शन चक्र जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम जय गौरानिताय 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 जय गौरानिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा हरे रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदन्तिकम्। Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalам Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagna Raghunatam Tam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagna Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वञ्चकल्पतरोभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्दा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवतम् उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Hare Krishna Prabhavati Mataji, I hope you're well.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare
please
Krishna.
accept my humble
Please
obeisances. Yes,
accept
Mataji.
mine. Hope you're well. Okay,
Yes, Mataji. Thank you
yeah,
so
how
much.
is your back now?
Getting better, Mataji, recovering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all your prayers and thank you, Haribo.
Haribol, Haribol. Okay, so today we're just going to speak a little bit about Bhagavad Gita, just generally. Obviously, we're going to our New Year is like we have lots of different New Years throughout the year. So we have the Gaur Purnima one, we have like the one in Kartik, and then there's the South Indian one. I think is in Vaishak, and the Bengali one is then, and then I think the end of the year is also the January for some as well. So depending on where celebration is all the time in Krishna consciousness, and obviously we are coming to a calendar end of year, so it's a time of reflection, and it's also a time to look forward to what we want to achieve. Not so much about desires, so it could be spiritual desires, what we want to achieve in the coming year, and it's actually like sankalpas, like people say, they obviously the English way of saying it is New Year's resolutions, but in maybe in the more Indian term, the term that is used is sankalpa. So sometimes it's really good to have a clear idea of the goals that we want to achieve. It might be internal goals, like personal goals, so something that we want to achieve personally. So it might be a characteristic of ours that we want to change, or something we want to do more of, something we want to do less of. It might be that we pick a certain quality that we want to develop. in the new year. So it could be a personal, internal thing. It obviously, like most of us all want to, like, deepen our love and devotion towards Krishna. So the spiritual goals are there. It might be that we're going to read a little bit more or chant a little bit more. Um, Something that that we're falling short of, and not just falling short of, but something that we want to kind of increase. And so obviously I'm going to ask everybody to reflect on what some of the things they might want to do. And then also it could be like, I'm going to go through a little bit of how His Holiness Keshav Maharaj, he kind of talked about the Gita and how Krishna is answering all our questions. So he had a really good way of doing it. So obviously I can't replicate what a Maharaj can do, but I maybe we can take some key principles from the way in which he said that the Gita will help us in we should rethink the way in which we live. And his, obviously, as Krishna says, that we have our Sanatan Dharma, we have our Swadharma. So naturally, as we improving our material, like whatever our duties, if we're a father, a mother, a husband, a wife, a daughter, whatever job we're doing, etc., all the labels, the false things that we identify with, but they are still our duties, and we still have to perform them alongside the fact that we have our eternal dharma, which, being in a spiritual setting, we're more in tune with, like following the processes of devotional service. So just we can maybe speak a little bit about that. But before we go into that, so like maybe like not just goal setting, but like we put the intention out that, there's certain things that we want to, it could be a relationship goal, it could be a spiritual goal, it could be a career goal, it could be, a travel goal, going to the dham, um, whatever the goal is. Let's, like, the desire is always there, everything. So even if we want to change something within ourselves, like I say, we have to have the desire initially has to be there. But we cannot not, we are not desireless. Desire is also always there, but um we have to dovetail ourselves to that. It could be a health goal also, like health is so important. Like we know, like, if we don't manage ourselves, if we're not, eating in the sattvic way, if we're not living um, a regulated lifestyle, if we're not getting enough sleep, like say, like if sleep, like we're getting like broken sleep or whatever, like it's something that we have to address. We can't not get proper sleep, because if we're not getting proper sleep, we can't function. That's going to cause agitation the next day. If we're eating, our food is too spicy or whatever it is, it's going to, there's going to be a balance, imbalance of doshas, etc. So obviously everything has to be regulated, but what Krishna says is that once the devotional service starts, then the rest of the stuff already, it naturally just happens. So it is the fact that we increase our devotion, but also that, Krishna gives us, like especially in the last 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, he actually tells us, how are we supposed to sleep? How are we supposed to eat? How are we supposed to recreation? He actually says that spiritual life is not for somebody that does too much of one thing or doesn't do. It's about having balance. We can only maintain our bhakti in a situation of balance, and we have to come to that balance. So maybe today, if we all look at, like, the different areas of our life and how we want to, what we want to do, what our desire is in each. So it could be a career goal, a relationship goal, spiritual goal, devotional, um a travel goal, recreation, just rest. um everything needs to be there. It's like a plate. And if we are balanced, then our devotional life will go accordingly nicely. If we do too much of one thing, like of course, like Srila Prabhupada and people like this, they could sleep. They used to sleep like 2 hours, and then, but like, unless anyone is at that stage, obviously what's recommended by Krishna in the books is that, you know, at least, 7, 8 hours, six, I think he says six in there, 6 to 8 hours of sleep, depending on how much everybody needs. And then actually understand even ayurvedically, like what the different times are, what are good times to do certain things. And we already wake up Brahma Muhurat, so that's not really an issue. But then, do we use our time wisely throughout the day, so that um, that when we're working, we can work optimally, and then the rest of the time we're recreating, we're using, maybe we have to exercise because that's so important. Like exercise, again, is mentioned in the Gita. It's, you can't, the body still needs that. Even Srila Prabhupada, he had to go for a walk. Yes, of course, like if you're just going to chant and that's it, that's fine. But the body needs certain things, and exercise certainly is one of them. It improves mental health, well-being, breath work. So all those things, even though we're not practicing yoga as such in the physical, we still need to think about how our body is best. Like if we're looking after people, if you're a carer, if you've got like elders, if you're looking after young children, you still have to maintain your body. You have to still give time for yourself. So we'll do a little bit of time management and how we're going to fit that all. So before we start, if everyone can just please get a piece of paper and a pen. If everyone's got a piece of paper and a pen.
Sorry, Mataji, I am out of my
You're
station.
out of your
I'm
house.
with a
Okay, so you
friend.
can just
Apple.
remember it, yeah. That's okay. But as long as you have your own mental note of what you're
Yeah.
going to do in each area. Okay. But if everyone can get a piece of paper and a pen, and they can just write down 3 questions. This is what Geshev Maharaj asked everybody to do in the thing. 3 questions that you want answers to from Krishna. Like 3 things that really you want to change, like that deeply are that you want to improve, or that are deeply, like, digging at you, or anything. That 3 things that you want answers for. Just if you just write them down. And then his way of talking about it was that, okay, so he asked everyone to write 3 questions down, and he said throughout the course of the recitation of the Bhagavad Gita and his presentation, everybody should have an answer to all of those, because any question we ask is the same as Arjuna. If I'm not saying we're going to ask exactly the same question as Arjuna, but the principle will be the same. So if it could be any area of your life, anything you want to know, anything you think, okay, these 3 things I want to know this year, like next year or tomorrow. If you could write them down, 3 things. So I'll just give you like a minute to think about that and just write them down.
Sarvapanishadot that I didn't learn. Can you tell me some of the things?
So if everyone has the 3 questions, they don't need to necessarily share them, but if anyone's is everyone okay for me to move on? If you're still writing them, that's fine. But please write 3 questions. It can just things you maybe need help with in your life, or just anything. It can be about devotional life. It can be about a personal thing. So 3 things that you want answers to, you want to change, you want to... Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue. So I'm going to just play parts of this presentation by Keshav Maharaj. And as we're just going through this, see if just naturally... Hare Krishna. If you could just see naturally if any of the, if any of this is speaking to your questions. So one of the things he spoke about his school, and he said that, material education obviously is important. We need it to survive, etc. And he's very practical. So, he spoke about, yes, we do need to learn maths and geography and this and that. But he said, he used to spend 2 hours learning geography, but actually the best way to learn geography is to travel the world. So instead of looking at it in books, why don't you just experience it? And we need all the other abilities like mathematical, because it helps us to develop like our cognitive skills, etc., and our problem solving skills, and so forth. But there was things that we didn't learn, and I'm just going to play this.
Things, just shout out something you feel like you did learn at school. You did learn. Anyone? Just English. He says in perfect English. Yes, what else did you learn? Science, maths, history, making friends, discipline, sharing. Okay, wow, you guys had a good schooling. Religion, wow. That definitely didn't happen at Copeland. What didn't you learn at school? Budgeting. Spiritual knowledge. How to live life. The purpose of life. The mind, who I am. School is amazing. You learn many things. School maybe teaches you what to think. I'm not sure how much school teaches you how to think. Maybe, maybe not. School teaches you academic knowledge. But how much does school teach you life knowledge? Something. Maybe there could be more. School often teaches you a lot of skill sets. But do you feel like you learn mindset at school? How to focus, how to be determined, how to be disciplined, how to actually fix your mind on something? School maybe teaches you how to make money. Does school teach you how to utilize money? Did you know that the 2 most unhappy people in the world are the people who have no money and the people who have lots of money? Because money, you can't live without it. But once you have it, you have to know how to live with it. School teaches you the laws of society. But does school teach you the laws of nature? School teaches you how to find success. Yes, school sets you up to be successful. But did you learn at school how to embrace failure? Maybe that is even more important. School teaches you to develop your competence, but what about character? And school may teach you general subjects, math, science, English, and we have to learn all of those things. But in the midst of learning general subjects, have we learned what is our unique talent? Did you learn your unique talent at school? As I was often sitting in the school, in that classroom, I was appreciating the knowledge. But at the age of 15, I was thinking, there's so many other things I want to learn. And I don't feel like I'm learning those things here. And then, on a Monday morning, after that geography class, something amazing happened to me. One of my friends came in, and at lunchtime we started speaking, and he said to me, one of those Hare Krishnas just came around my house the other day, and they gave me a Bhagavad Gita. And as soon as he said that, I didn't even let him finish the sentence. I said, I want to read that book. And the very next day he brought it in, and I remember going home as a 15-year-old with the Bhagavad Gita, fascinated as to the opportunity of learning all of these things that I wasn't learning at school. And 30 years later, I'm still studying that book. And that book, I can guarantee you, teaches you everything that you may not learn in normal school. Because the Bhagavad Gita is actually the ultimate school, the ultimate classroom. This is the scene at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is distraught. And can you see Krishna's face? Krishna, what's he doing? Is he distraught? Krishna's smiling. Why is Krishna smiling? Arjuna is going through the biggest crisis of his life, and Krishna's smiling. And the commentators explain that this smile of Krishna has a very, very deep meaning. You know what it is? Krishna is smiling because he's thinking Arjuna is the most successful, powerful, prominent person on the whole battlefield, and now he's become like a humble student. Krishna is thinking, I'm the chariot driver, I'm the one supposed to be taking orders, I'm the one who's just supposed to do what he's told, and I'm becoming the guru. And this whole place is a battlefield, and now it's becoming a classroom. So the commentators say Krishna is smiling at the irony of the whole situation because the Bhagavad Gita ultimately becomes the classroom. So this is the classroom, the school of life. The knowledge that we're given by the Supreme Lord is given to us in the Vedas. But it's said that within the Vedas there are many books, and one of those books is the Mahabharata. And in the Mahabharata there are many, many books as well. And one of those books contains the Bhagavad Gita. And therefore the Gita is considered Sarvapani Gavo Dogda Gopalanandana, is the essence of everything. If you learn this, if you understand this, if you grasp this, you don't need anything else. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada gave to us the Bhagavad Gita tirelessly. He translated, this is Devanagari, this means Sanskrit, is there. But how many of us can read Sanskrit? So what Srila Prabhupada did is Ucharan. He made it into Roman transliteration, so you can chant all the Sanskrit shlokas. Not just that, but what he did is he gave you Padartokti, a word for word breakdown of every single word that Krishna recites. Not just that, but for every verse, he gives a Vyakya Yojan, which means a translation. And then, for every verse, Srila Prabhupada gives a tika or a commentary. This is the most valuable treasure house of knowledge. It's often sitting in our homes, and we're just looking at it from the outside. Therefore, today, we want to share with you that this is the ultimate knowledge of life that every single one of us have the opportunity to grasp. And today we're going to be going through some of the main themes of the Gita. And what I'm going to try to do is split it up into 8 sections. Krishna wants us to rethink the way we live life. And the way he's going to do that is by teaching Arjuna all of these things. Sometimes we need to step away. Sometimes we need to look at things from a different perspective. Sometimes we need to keep questioning. And therefore, what I'm going to try to share with you over the course of this morning is every single one of these things that Krishna imparts to Arjuna, which helps us to rethink our life. And my conviction is that after going through every single one of these, when you reach the final page of your book, where all of those questions are sitting, if you've actually taken the time to deeply listen, deeply reflect, and deeply try to absorb the knowledge that we're going to be sharing here today, you should be able to answer every single one of those questions without the blink of an eyelid. Does that sound good? Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now we will begin with the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So can we give our reciters...
Okay, so Hare Krishna, we come back to that. So you've all got your 3 questions. So maybe if we can just discuss that just amongst ourselves. So, you know, if we just have a discussion about what we didn't learn in school, like Geshav Maharaj says, if I just bring up the... if we just have a discussion about that, what do we think about this, and how much has Gita helped us currently answer these kind of questions? How have, you know, we been able to use the Gita in our life to answer some of these questions that or did you go to a school where all these were taught? You may have gone to a school where this was all taught.
School teaches you to develop your competence.
Just gonna pause.
But what about character?
So if we just look at what the last year has been
general
like,
subjects, math, science, English, and we have to learn all of
and
those
how
things.
else we want.
But in the midst of learning general subjects,
25 with
have we learned
things? So it might
what
be
is
something about
our
character,
unique talent?
it might be
Did you
about
learn
money,
your
could be about
unique
anything.
talent?
So we'll just go one by one. So we'll start with Sridhar Prabhu and Supriya Mataji. Are you there?
Yes, Mataji.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, so what did you think about the, you know, like, do you feel like you learn about some of these topics at school? Do you feel that obviously coming into now being you know, like in quite deeply embedded into the ISKCON ways, and obviously having studied the Bhagavad Gita over like, you know, a series of years, what do you feel like you've improved upon in your life, and what do you want to further improve upon going into the future?
Based on this question?
Yeah, just kind of, yeah. So
what to think and how to think, you mean that one?
Yeah, like, do you feel like there's still room for improvement? Because we can, because if you want to focus on that, how to think, what to think, I can forward to how Keshav Maharaj then said, how he said that how Krishna helps us with the mind. So if that's what you want to improve on, we can look at that.
No, I'm just asking, like, I mean, you want to discuss about these questions, what Maharaj has written, or what you have asked us, how,
Yeah,
what?
so these questions, exactly how Maharaj just asked them, but just to kind of refer, like just to kind of, because we're just talking about the end of year, like how much of this do you think you've improved in, and how much do you think is still left and that you'd like to further improve in? Yeah. Or if that question doesn't sit right with you, answer it in the way you want to answer it.
uh, so my school and I basically I did all my schoolings in India. Like, here the schools are very different, like, I mean, um, I don't know, like, what to think. Yeah, of course they say what to think in the school. Yeah, they make the students to have many worksheets, and then they ask them to fill it up. Means that's the goal they want to achieve. So they make to think in that way, right? Like,
Mhm.
um, I don't know, like, I mean, how to think is a means, to some extent, I think school is also improved a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, because obviously it is all about material things, not spiritual in any ways. So as Maharaj was explaining, all the material things are very nicely taught in school. So based on that, our mind thinks so much materially. So uh, they want us to be successful in our career. So that's why we are doing so many subjects. Like, and they make us to think by giving exams and tricky questions in the exam. So obviously they are thinking, isn't it? I don't know, like, it makes sense.
Yeah, I think you're right about exam. Like it teaches you how to think in a different, like you say, it's tricky.
Yeah, because what to think is like, of course, it's material think. That's the
Yeah.
thing. So in that material angle, how they want to think, that they are teaching, obviously.
Yeah.
That's what I mean to say. Did you get the point? Like, I mean,
Yeah. No. Yeah. 100%. So they're teaching you what to think, but they're not teaching you a process of how to think. Yeah. Like Krishna teaches us
how
how
to
to
think
think.
in an other way, like apart from the material success.
Yeah.
That's what I mean to say. Like, I mean,
Yeah. And
okay.
then Krishna straight away, Bhagavad Gita just turns that all on its head and says, like Arjuna's obviously coming to a place where he's dejected, and then where the
Yeah,
material.
but the life lessons is obviously we don't know, like they are not teaching it. That's
Yeah.
very clear, and that's why the second one comes, that life knowledge. I mean, they say teach only about the academic knowledge, and the life knowledge, like when we are put up in a situations, like in a difficult situation, especially how to handle the things when when we don't have we are not able to take decisions in a life, like which
Mm.
career to choose, this one or that one. So they are not going to say, you know, this is the kind of life, how we want to mold our life, that is aligning to our spiritual things, spiritual activities, maybe. So in that case, um, the academic, I mean, the school is lacking all sort of things.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, when we have to align spiritually, then we have to even try to pick up a career that is suitable for our spiritual activities as well. So if we are too much, like, say, I'm seeing here a lot of different. I mean, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, yeah, he only takes the offering of vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, water, and it's no meat and or egg, etc. But here we see like there are so many shops that they are selling the meat, and it's obviously someone, if they want to, if they are practicing Krishna consciousness, they have no choice to go and join in some of the shops, and they might be encountering the meats and stuffs. So
Mm.
it's very difficult to take decisions like that, isn't
Mm.
it? Like,
Yeah.
that such type of decision making is not taught in schools. They left to us.
Yeah.
In that way, like the we don't know, but of course we also don't know which decision is the right decision if we lack the spiritual knowledge.
Mm.
We are lucky that Prabhupada has brought up this Bhagavad Gita for us, and then he has given all the Krishna consciousness, so we can compare like which job or career or any aspect of life that can be aligned with our spiritual activity. So
Yeah.
this thing is really lacking in school. Definitely, yes.
Okay.
That's what I think about that. Mm.
Um, what
And
about mindset? Like, do you think like skill sets? Obviously, you spoke
the,
about that.
the
It does
skill,
teach you skills.
yeah, again, there are skill set which is only for the material skill sets. There are they are training, of course, which is partly needed for our life to navigate the life as such for some material things, because we have to survive in this world. And yeah, the skill set, the mindset. Speaking about the mindset, of course, they are not really, but they are also sometimes in some schools now. Over the time I have observed is they are teaching. Some of the schools have these yoga classes to calm down the mind and all those things, and then how you can it comes under the behavioral thing or something, like
Mm-hmm.
there are psychological things are coming up in the schools as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think some of them are, but they are not based on the spiritual background anyways. It's a kind of temporary relief,
Yeah.
like, you know, when focusing the mind, how to focus the mind, and how to uh, take even decisions, or they do many, they have different techniques even to train the mind, basically by some flashcards for in young children's. If you observe, they do some, suppose a person is lacking memory power, so how to bring the memory in the young children, they have a repeated set of cards and make them to go around, and they are having some kind of mind to focus, but on the material plane,
Yeah.
not on the spiritual plane. I mean, these things sounds to be, for me, these skill sets are really artificial for a human brain mind, which is getting too much, and it is too much artificial kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I understand. Yeah, but in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says how to. So mind is like, you can make your mind a friend or you can make your mind enemy. That is dependent on you. Like when you
Yeah.
fix your mind on Krishna, and then your mind becomes your friend. And
Yeah.
when you're not fixing your mind on Krishna, then obviously the artificial skill sets or mindset is going to increase, and then it just becomes an enemy of you. Yeah, on a broader perspective, the skill sets are only for this lifetime can be beneficial, but we don't know what's going to happen in our next lifetime. In that
Yeah.
case, then it is. Yeah, yes, Mataji, you were saying something.
No, no, please carry on.
I don't know, whatever it's coming, I'm just saying to you.
Yeah, no, I think it's really important because you're opening up, you're thinking about how, what are the things that we need to learn for a spiritual.
Yes, like, I mean, skill set for this lifetime, for living our lifestyle. It might be useful to earn money, but then the mindset is very important, like to face any of difficulties in our life as well.
Hmm.
And when one is not having the peace in his mind, he cannot function properly. That's what
Yeah. And
that
that's beautiful, yeah, because if we know that there's so many like mental health challenges in the UK and especially in
yeah,
the UK,
yeah. So
because
they're
there's not
bringing,
an abundant mindset. It's not a expansive mindset. It's a closed mindset. Like, you have a setback and they don't know how to deal with it. And
yes, there are a lot of things, like now we can see a lot of childrens with different problems with the mind, like
yeah.
you might have known, like autism and then ADHD, so many
Hmm.
things. These are because it's the person is born in that type of mind, like they don't know, other person doesn't know how to deal with the other person.
Yeah.
Everybody is unique in their way, so
Hmm.
the thinking process is different for everyone. So the schools are trying to deal with that, but it is very very hard, since it is, we cannot they are just doing based upon this lifetime, but we don't know the soul is carrying such type of mindset from his previous karmas,
Yeah.
from previous lifetime. So these type of things, Bhagavad Gita only teaches, like previous karma, and then what is karma and all those things,
Yeah.
like previous lifetimes and the next lifetime, what, how you will be. So for that, it's very very important for that one should read Bhagavad Gita and follow the footsteps of Lord Sri Krishna. That is only given in Bhagavad Gita, and not in the schools, just mundane
Mhm.
schools. Yeah, that's what I think about that.
And we're not also like we're not told that we're the soul. We're always told we're the body at school.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
that's the
our start point is wrong. Like
yeah,
if the ABCD of spiritual life is we're not the body, we're the soul, then everything becomes different if we understand we're not the body, which all the problems start from the body, don't they?
yeah.
Or most of them.
Problems, yeah, the problem starts from body, uh, like the karma what we bought from our previous life.
Yeah.
These type of lessons we can't get in the schools, and we can't
Yeah.
learn.
These are things, yeah. And so, Mataji, can you please how my how have you maybe since coming into spiritual life, how have you embraced failure as
Failure.
opposed to, obviously we're looking at finding success, but um, have we been able to embrace failure, and has spiritual life taught you anything around that?
Oh, failures, yes. If it's a kind of weird for me. Like, I mean,
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
for me, embracing failure, of course, we have to embrace failures. That's true. But in my life, I sometimes don't think about what is the end. I mean, I have the good intention. If I wanted to study, I wanted to get a good grades. Let's suppose I put it in that way. I study more and more, and I work hard. So it is in one sense that I don't want to fail. That's the end, right? That's why I'm
Yeah.
putting more and more, working hard to study and to get a good grades, which is good in one angle for the material life. But to my but at that point of time, we may not put our endeavors on Krishna consciousness.
Hmm.
That's what I feel like. But when I came to know about Krishna consciousness and Bhagavad Gita, so I understood that one should embrace the failures. Like I know theoretically, that's a practically when the situation comes, then only we can say really
Yeah.
whether we are really embracing the failure or no. Like since everybody wants the success, that's for sure. Like
Yes,
Not
absolutely.
Supriya, or it's not the RadhaSevika or Prabhavati Mataji or Gorangi Mataji. Everybody needs to have a success in their life. That's the wish of everyone. That's the wish of anybody's soul. But and we are being trained in that way, basically. Like
Hmm.
that's why we have to compete with each other, and then who comes first or not. But then we tend to fear whether we will fail every time. So that's one of the thing. Like I had the fear of failure,
Yeah,
basically. So I know theoretically it's not important that we have to be very successful in all the things. Sometimes we should accept the failures as well. From the Bhagavad Gita, I can really understand that. And to now, to some extent, um, I don't think about anything like a failure or
yeah.
success. Just go ahead.
So
Like
maybe that's what you found. Like you carry on, like Krishna says, you know.
I'm not. If I am not successful, so I'm not taking it too seriously. Oh, that's
Excellent.
great.
Yeah, yeah. You see, yes. So we remained equipoised in the ups and downs, or
Yeah,
the.
yeah. But the problem, if I do like that, then what I think is sometimes I'm not putting my whole effort to
Okay,
attain.
so yes, so then
That's
yes, so then
another thing.
it did your determination, it gets stronger. So from a, if we, I mean, I'm hypothetically speaking, if
Mm.
we was to have a failure, some people might just come to a collapse. They might just, okay, that's it. But the spiritual life teaches us that that's not the end. It
Mm.
teaches us that we have to do something else
Yeah,
to get ourselves to be better.
yeah.
So, or
Definitely, yeah. There should be a there is a cause for um, there is a what should I say, like failure. Like we might be sometimes very fearful, and then we put hard work either, or
hmm,
we know that it's going to be failure and we don't put hard work. That's two things are going on, you know.
okay,
Um, but still, I have to do my job anyways. Like, you know, in this case, we have to surrender to Krishna, give the
mhm,
fruits to Krishna. I mean, uh, don't expect anything. Just do what you have to do. Like Arjuna
yes,
finally is surrendering himself and he's beginning to fight. So
yeah.
that's the lesson we have to learn from Bhagavad Gita. So that type of things, the schools are not really teaching.
Yeah, because Arjuna does. That's exactly what you're right. Like he just gives up and he says he puts his Gandiva down.
Yeah,
He's very, you know, he's already very successful. But even in the, you know, he should be the one leading that war. But it's actually, you know, Krishna's just a charioteer.
yeah,
Exactly how Maharaj said there. He's just a charioteer, but actually in that space, he's willing to surrender to a higher authority
yeah,
and gain that empowerment of Bhagavad Gita, like, you know, you're not the soul. I mean, you're not the body, you're the soul.
yeah,
All these, you know, all these things, you know, how reincarnation happens, exactly what you just touched upon there, what happens in terms of,
yeah,
you know, we have to do our duty,
yeah,
you know, just think of Krishna, but just kind of carry on. And all these things, with that knowledge, we can like keep moving forward. And like
yeah.
you say, the surrender.
Good.
Um, So
Other,
yeah, and then
otherwise,
character.
we will not put effort also. That is another problem. Yeah,
Excellent. Yeah, some people might not put effort, and Krishna is saying that you have to still do your duty.
duty. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
he's still saying you have to do your
thing.
duty. Um, so develop your character. So how do you feel like it maybe in the last year, if you just use that last year, how do you feel your character has developed because of devotional service or because of something in KC or something that you've done specifically and that's helped you to, instead of just looking at your competence, it's actually helped you to not change your character, but to refine it, to develop it, to better it? Or is there something else that going into next year you would like to achieve?
Develop your character, or the in material sense, it is competence in the okay.
Yeah, but so may just use the space of the last year, that's just this year that's just gone. So
One thing I remember, in my last year I was working. This year I just resigned my job. That because I was being constantly, I have to be compete with someone,
yeah,
That's the thing I was thinking of. Like, I mean, I was doing my job how much ever best I can.
yeah,
Problem is like I couldn't. There was too much heavy workload that I
yeah,
couldn't manage.
yeah,
So I could. I was, of course, I was doing chanting and then eating
So
prashadam.
developing character, you lose the character.
Hmm?
Developing character, you lose the character.
No, it's not.
What I'm saying that because of heavy work and everything, you lose
so
your
like the character you actually
Oh
decide.
yeah, that is also there. Yeah, if I am too much competing, then I will also lose my character. That's true. Yeah, of course. Yes.
Because you're, yes, because the thing is they're over, like I know, like especially jobs now, people are doing 5 6 people's jobs in one role.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think it's about respecting yourself, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
self-respect and saying this is not, yeah,
I was just thinking, like, I mean, but at the same time, I was my mind, like, I'm seeing everyone, and then there is some what you call, they used to have this line managing thing in they used to ask, right, what did you feel the job right or not,
mm,
and what you want to improve, all these things. Like of course that what you want to become, or all those things, that's common in the career field. Like then they train for that. So they used to ask, like, I mean, so for me, like, to be honest, I am a little bit a workaholic. I know that
yeah,
from the beginning only, even from Krishna consciousness, before Krishna consciousness, or whatever, after also
yeah,
sometime. So my aims are always used to be bigger, you know. So I know that is possibly, I don't know. I'm thinking like I have I deserve to be more or something like that.
yeah, okay. So you develop, it's, yeah,
Uh,
it's understanding that it's that isn't the right place for you, and it's having that awareness that there is something bigger, and that you want to be in a balanced situation. What Krishna is saying is that we need balance,
yeah,
I think, for
know how
you.
to explain properly, but something like why are you laughing?
no, no. I mean, she always thinks that for her caliber and everything, she should be better positioned. But that is not the way things are happening in her life. That's what she wanted to see.
Yeah, I thought
Yes,
so, but then I thought that then I started to think deeply inside me. Do this? Do I really need this
yeah,
better position? So then I thought, no, it's not my ultimate goal even. So I wanted to be Krishna conscious more than going up. I used to think like that.
yeah,
After Krishna consciousness, I started thinking when I was working like that, as in working in a company. So when people ask me, it's okay if I'm in this position or the better position, that's okay for me. So whatever I think, I just say, like, so I don't know how to.
yeah. I do. I think what you're saying is that you have developed your, it is about character development, because like you said before, we just chase after, when with material energy and all these material things we get taught, we just keep running after a
Yes,
dangling carrot,
yeah,
and we keep, and then once we take to spiritual life, we actually understand that's not the purpose of life.
yeah. Then what happened is, after that, like, um, then they were just taking away the opportunities which they are supposed to give to me. So then
Yes.
I realized
Yes.
if I'm not able to work without the opportunities, then they are going to question again me, you know, what you did in these hours. Yeah, we have to write a timesheet, these hours we did that, this,
Yeah.
like that. Then
Yeah.
what is this happening now? I'm ready to decrease my position, but then the other problem comes up. Like, how will I fill my hours then if somebody is taking my opportunity?
Mataji,
Yes. Yes.
That's what I'm
not the
doing.
whole story. Then
That's why I'm saying, then that is also affecting me. Again, I was jumping in between. Should I go? Should I not do this? Should I do this? Then I started my spiritual thing is whenever I chant, that is only that one I'm thinking, I'm only thinking that instead of Krishna. So then I
Yeah.
decided, okay, so that's not my goal. And I'm just getting angry and all those things. So it's
Yeah.
changing my character. So then I decided
Yeah.
that's not going to work for me. And
Yes.
I resigned.
Yeah.
Resigned it. That's why I just resigned it. Of course. Oh, definitely. Now I understood that the going up in the ladder and career is not really important for me. Uh, which is going to change my character in itself, if that is character from good to bad. I mean, so I
Yes.
just don't need that one. That's why I'm trying to find there's no comfortable job anyway. So sorry about that.
I think you're right. I think a lot of people is experiencing this, and it
Yeah.
may be that Krishna's wanting us to create a comfortable situation where we are able to do devotional service alongside, because they do say that we should
Yeah.
find a way in which
Yeah.
everything fits around our devotion. It shouldn't
Yeah.
be the other way around. Everything fits around our material life.
Yeah.
It should eventually come to a point where
Yeah.
the devotional life is the bedrock, and then we just, we're doing things, and maybe it is about creating those kind of cultures and work situations
Yeah.
where as devotees we can function within them. And it's hard, even in devotional, you can,
Yes.
it's hard. Yeah.
Balancing is very hard. I think like Swayam Keshav Maharaj was saying, you should you were mentioning, no, he said that he was trying saying to balance the spiritual and material. But one thing I observed is it's very, very hard to balance. That's what I find in my life, at least. Maybe other devotees can balance. It depends upon devotee to devotee also, basically.
Yeah. But it's about making a conscious, that's why we said we're going to, if we just divide, if we we put if we write it in, like, okay, 1 hour for exercise, 1 hour for devotion, when we start putting it in, like Geshe Maharaj eventually says, you can sort of like kill two birds with one stone. So if you need exercise, you're going for a walk, then take your japa beads with you as well. So you're doing the chanting and you're doing the exercise, so you're doing it together. um you can put them together.
Yeah.
If you're going to go on holiday, go to a devotional place, that's going to improve, like if you need rest, that's, you do need rest, so just have some chanting in the background. Or um if you're going to, so you can always put two three things together. But character, I think you're right, like we're all coming to that stage where I think that's just a general, people are very undervalued in their work. People are doing 3 4 people's jobs, a lot of ragging at work. um
Yeah.
yeah, it's not, yeah. um and then unique talents, do you think maybe in this process that you're going to find something that is unique? It might be that you set up your own business and you have working hours that are different, or do you think that in this you might find something that's unique about you? And
Sorry, Mataji. I just want Prabhavati Mataji or Gaurangi Mataji, if they want to say something, I think
yeah, I've got a different slide for them. So But if you could just the unique, because I think this was just meant to be for you. I don't, because Gorangi Mataji's life situation's a bit different.
Oh, okay.
So
See Krishna Mataji, you
Hare
both
Krishna.
going on Mataji. I'm listening. I don't have anything.
Yeah,
You carry
yeah.
on
I have
Mataji.
got some for you though. I know your life is different. Prabhavati Mataji, has anything come up for you?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry, regarding what Mataji?
Just any of those things. I think like I don't feel like I think obviously you're probably going through a different situation as well to Supriya Mataji. I'm just trying to give the best solution to each of but in terms of let me just bring that back up. In terms of what bits have you learned within school? What doesn't the
Oh,
education
okay. Okay,
do?
okay. Yeah, I think it has been pretty much Mataji explained everything, Supriya
Yeah,
Mataji. But the main thing in school and what they don't teach anything spiritual, and main thing about education is academic only. Even the parents at home, they don't encourage
yeah,
because they don't have any knowledge and no encouragement for the children to
yeah,
progress in any spirituality. They don't give
yeah,
proper information because the parents themselves, they are not aware of what is there in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. They have not gone through with it. So that's the one thing I really liked about didn't like about the schooling, because
yeah,
there is no spiritual education. And another thing, it was always bugging, in the mind. um, what As we go to the higher class, we see the Christians, they go regularly to church, and the Muslims, they do namaz every any day 5 times.
yeah,
And for us, there is no standard anything like we have to follow any regulated spiritual activities. There is nothing. If you want to go to the temple, you are okay, you go. Otherwise, once in a month, any festival day, you go to the temple, you visit the temple. And we don't know our real identity. We didn't know. None of the schools will teach us about this Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, especially spirituality. You can't see anywhere in the whole world. But because of Srila Prabhupada, now we have lots of spiritual centers teaching Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and everything. In those days, there's nothing happening as like so much. So the Bhagavad Gita, I came across with the two versions of Bhagavad Gita in our area, which is not as it is. And when I read those books and when I read these books, there was a big difference between, because proper education is there. Krishna is teaching, which is not taught in the school. I'm talking about who we are, our real identity. So it's a kind of, in the school it is mainly material platform, but in here it's combined material as well as spiritual. Lord Krishna is teaching everything to through Arjuna to us. So we have to be whatever we do, we have to do it in the spiritual platform. Krishna is the center and he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Until then I didn't know. And I was only told that we have 33 crore demigods. And I used to think in my mind how we can go and worship every day different, who we are calling when we are real, when we are in need. Because sometimes as a human, it's a nature, when difficult time comes, and when we are really in the material platform, we don't know who to call. I was confused whether I should pray to Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, or where to Lord Shiva. Some say Lord Shiva, Lord Goddess Durga is the supreme, Lord Ganesha is supreme. So it is all confusing. And there's so much to learn. And Mataji already spoke about um, a soul and body. So at the size of the soul, Lord Krishna is explaining how big is this, size of the soul. And also we learn how many living entities, also at the cycle of birth and death, like 8.4 millions we go. we have to come back again. And these are the new things. It's a lot of things we are learning in Bhagavad Gita, which is not taught at the school. It's all mainly based in the school education is mainly based on the material platform.
Mm-hmm.
So also, which I like in Bhagavad Gita, which is not taught in the school, they explain in the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna explains the spiritual abode. He also explains how the spiritual world look like, his real world looks like. And once we go back, he's assuring that we won't come back in this material world to suffer. So I don't, lots of things, Mataji, and the modes of material nature, how we get the body again. We come across with these three modes of material nature. According to that, our body is prepared for the next life.
Mm-hmm.
So, and karmic reactions, how difficult to come out of this material entanglement, and how we can be degraded. Lord Krishna is explaining in even chapter 17 how we will be degraded once we go into the down planets, lower planets. It's very difficult to come out of that. So these things will make us aware and not to do wrong things. And also, the charity. And when we are in the school, we were always taught that you need to do good work, you need to help in building the schools, or you need to help the poor beggars. All these things we know exactly. Now Lord Krishna is teaching us how the charity should be done, which is the best charity to do. And also surrendering, how we have to surrender, to whom we have to surrender, and how we have to do the bhakti, devotional service, and then only how to attain the supreme. So much, so much, so much we are learning in Bhagavad Gita. It's like it's a vast topic, but we are so thankful to His Divine Srila Prabhupada, and we have all these sanghas and everything. And I have never heard about Gurukul in current Kali Yuga, but now we can see. We have only heard in the past, like Ramayana, Mahabharata, and all, there were Gurukulas. They used to teach them until they finish their brahmachari, varnashrama dharma and all. How a systematic way of leading the life towards the path of liberation. What is liberation? We didn't know what is liberation. We knew that moksha, but what is the exact meaning of liberation? We didn't know. So many things, Mataji. I think it's a vast topic. I don't want to. I think it's already time, so I don't
Yeah.
want to go on talking. But
So
lots of things. Yeah,
maybe if we leave with success. So obviously we want to improve
yeah,
the future with success, and Bhagavad Gita, like you said, we know that we have this formula for success. So
yeah,
maybe if we just kind of you know rethink and redefine success. We think that things happen to us, but actually if we rethink it, especially how Supriya Mataji was just saying, like she was going through this situation, but actually if she in her mind thinks, oh, this has actually happened for my good, that thing happened for you, not to you, then you have an empowered way of thinking, which is going to lead to you doing better and thinking out, and that's what Krishna wants. So sometimes things happen and we think, oh, they're just happening to me, but actually they're happening for you for something better. Success is doing better things. So sometimes we can keep trying to do something and we're trying to better ourselves and trying to better, but actually there might be a point where we just say, no, we need to do better things now. We need to upgrade ourselves, and it's not about just keep improving on what we're doing, but actually we're doing better things. So it might be that we think about how we educate each other, others, and then create better things, lay better foundations for people, but ourselves as well. Like we upgrade ourselves, we forget about our limitations, but actually we just start doing better things. Like we just upgrade. Material and spiritual are not opposed. So obviously we've had that discussion now. A lot of the times in school we were only talked about material. and in spiritual we've learned so much, and actually they complement each other. They're together, and we can't see them in conflict with each other. They have to be side by side. They're not opposing. That we have to work them together, and we must earn a living. That's what we think, but actually we need to see that we must earn a life. Like, we have to be happy. So these are the things that we have to rethink, and we have to redefine what success actually means to us. So those whatever the things that you said you wanted to change, or the three questions you had, if you could um if you could maybe just look at them and just think about those three questions. How does the Gita help you to answer them? Like, obviously we can't go, it's so long to go through each and every single one of these, but how does Bhagavad Gita actually, if we just redefine what success means to us, using that formula that I've just said, that actually things are happening for us, they're helping us, they're making us better, they're giving us opportunities. How can, in the next year, how can you use that, not just looking at identity, but how can we actually become really successful using that slide that I just read out? So how do you do that? Make that real for yourself, like your three questions, the three things you want to do. Redefine the success and think about how you're going to use the knowledge in Bhagavad Gita to actually make 2025 more successful. So instead of looking at things in the same old way, like I'm going to do things better, what about just doing better things now? How are you going to upgrade yourself? So if anyone's got any answers, can they share them, please? Like maybe Sridhar Prabhu. So how your three things that you have listed that you're going to improve on, can you redefine the success for yourself so that you're actually improving yourself and you're upgrading yourself in accordance with Bhagavad Gita?
No, for me, I'm so much with my work now, so I had to find a balance between my work and my devotional life, which I'm struggling at this moment because expectations are quite high at the work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always very difficult to compromise because they're very competitive, and they're looking for young people. So which means that you have to be very competent enough to to uh, to show yourself, still you are in the market. Otherwise, they can give the job to some young people who has just finished graduation. So
Mm.
a lot of problem, but still I try to do what I can with devotion activity.
Okay,
But
but that's still doing what you kind of always have done. What are you going to do that's like, think of one thing. So it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter, isn't it? How are you going to do better
yeah, that's the
things?
point, Mataji, because that's why I'm working towards working smarter, because I have to do, because in terms of devotional activities, there is no smart way of doing it. Just
No,
get
no.
practice. That's the kind of practice, which is a kind of hard way of doing things. But I'm trying to make my working more into smart way. So if I make it that into work more smart way, then I have more time to do my own devotion activities. Because I'm putting a lot of efforts at my work now, I'm getting tired, so I couldn't able to spend much time on my devotion activities.
Yeah.
I can make my work more smarter, then I can use my time more into devotion activity. That's what I'm really practicing. Really, that's what I'm really working hard at this moment to get that more feasible. That's possible because my work is very new initial to me and also to the institute. So I had to put a lot of efforts to things to work. So now few things are working fine, so I need to put myself more out of that and give some opportunity for students to do that work, so I can guide them. So in that way, I can able to spend less physical work, and I can spend more on devotion activities. What I'm really thinking at this moment.
And is there any way that you could put the spiritual and the material together, like even in your place of work? So is there, obviously, I know that you have a job to do and that is, but
No, I mean I have flexibility in that because I'm more independent of work. So whenever I'm doing work, I used to chant, I used to sing, I used to do the work when I'm singing, and I can able to play some podcast at my
yeah,
work. And so I can able to do my work more spiritually. That means I can able to listen my Guru Maharaj class or some nice kirtan, some bhajans at my work.
yeah,
So I don't
yeah.
have limitation on hearing what I would like to hear. So in that way, I can able to be more focused on both. I can able to play my music in at my work, so there's no restrictions for me for that. So in that way, I can able to spiritualize my work uh, at my working place. Only thing I just my concern is that if I do more practical work in the lab, I'm getting tired. I wanted to minimize that and maximize more smarter way of working, so
Okay.
I can able to spend more time on my devotion activities.
Okay, so somehow that will happen for you, I'm sure. But yeah, it's about putting them together. And even in the consciousness in which we're working, I think if we separate the two, the more we blend it, the easier it gets, isn't it? Like if we
Yeah.
just think, yeah, like the more we separate, then the, the
Now,
yeah,
for example, Mataji, because I work more on the cells, so my work is more on biological cells. So at some point of time, I had to discard myself. So that time, I always think of Krishna. Krishna, I know this is kind of a small living entity. I'm killing them now. Please forgive me. I say Krishna Arpanam, and then I kill my waste cells, which I'm not going to use it. In that way, I always be conscious with what I'm doing. So in that way, that I can able to minimize my karmic reactions because of killing things, because that's a part of my work. I can't use all my experiment, all my things from experiments. I had to discard some of those for various reasons. So that time, I always say Krishna Arpanam. So I'll just think in that way and do it so that I can minimize my karmic reactions in this way, Mataji.
and maybe like it's. I mean, if you're doing cell, it might just be that you're trying to find a cure for something, or
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's more for the diagnostics and therapeutic
yeah.
things. It's
And
more.
therefore you have to be surrendered to Krishna anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's. I always feel like this job I'm doing the best because this job is given to me by Krishna. So I had to do the best in this job because that's also a kind of offering to him. If I do better, that's also an offering to Krishna in this way as well. That's also I have my.
Yes. So we yeah, that's a really good idea. Like we're doing it for Krishna. Yeah. Okay. Um. Okay. So I'm just going to leave one last thing. It's like a tool that Keshav Maharaj gave, and again, um, it's to help us just with a mind scan, because like we always say the mind is always giving us the most challenges. So he asked like if everybody could maybe use this tool, so just plot where you think you are on this mind scan. So do you think that you compare, criticize and compete? um Sorry, let me just bring that back. Where are you on this spectrum? um Sorry, let me just bring it back. Where are you on where are you on this spectrum? Do you compare, criticize and compete, or do you appreciate and encourage? Because when there is a disbalance again of these things, we want to try and move at least to the middle. So just be honest with yourself. where are you along that spectrum? So do we compare, criticize, and compete, or do we appreciate and encourage?
It depends
And
on the
obviously,
situation, Mataji, to me, like
yeah,
a situation, because sometimes you have to appreciate and encourage to get a better work. Sometimes you have to
yeah,
be, because it's not that you want to compare or you want to compete, but the environment makes you to compare and compete. It's just not that you want to do it, but then you've been forced to do it. But if I,
absolutely. And that's why it's like a spectrum. Yeah, it's just a spectrum. Like the more you work to the right hand side, the more kind of happier you, not happier, but the more easier life becomes for you.
if I'm a group
So,
leader, I like to appreciate, encourage people because I think the better way of working will help the people to appreciate their small achievements they make and
hmm,
encourage them so that they'll be happy that the group leader is happy. So they that also help them to work more to get better results. That's what
yeah,
I really would like to. But the situations are very different at work because they always compare you to someone other group leader or some other people
yeah,
there
yeah.
and compared to you, and you want to compete with them because you have to secure a job, so that means you have to be compared and you have to be competitive in that case.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why they've got you. That's why they've the nature of that role is competitive.
Yeah.
But obviously the mind scan is just showing your own level of where, not that, of course you're going to have to, we're all a part of a little bit of this and a little bit of that,
Yeah.
but it's what's gonna, so if you say that you're more to the left, if you, the more you kind of either go into the middle or um it there's no right or wrong answer, it's just what's going to make you the most
Circumstances, yeah,
happiest.
where you are,
Yeah,
where you placed.
yeah, so this is like Keshav Maharaj did this with Vaishnav Prabhu. So Vaishnav Prabhu said that he's, he works in the temple, so he still compares and criticizes and competes more than, so it's just to know what is happening in our mind, and
Yeah,
then we can shift it so that it doesn't matter. Okay, we're going to be in the same environment, but what's going to make us happy inside, um and what's going to give us that
yeah, the happiness will come when you appreciate people, when you encourage
yeah,
people, when you see a smile on their face, you feel very happy. That happiness will always come when you appreciate the people, when you encourage
yeah,
them for whatever they are doing. So that little make them happy when you see
yeah.
the smile on the face makes you also happy. So ultimately, right hand side is better way of doing it, but it just circumstances are
It's
different.
the circumstances, yeah. And then, so again, what are we looking for? Short-term gratification or long-term achievement? So don't see things like just in a short space, but see things as a whole, a long-term, much more
Yeah,
long-term. Um,
long term is always better because whatever you do, the small term goals, what you achieve, it also a kind of part of the long term achievements that you wanted to go.
yeah. So again, like aim for, like, keep the goal, the end goal quite, you know, it's a long term. See things like as little small goals that meet the big long term achievements. Are we more distracted and many branched, or are we attentive and focused? So, sometimes we're doing 5 6 10 different things at once, and that might actually reduce our level of happiness, as opposed to if we were attentive and focused. If we start doing one thing, if you've got one thing on your desk at work, finish that off. If, like, Gorangi Mataji, she's going to make, then her whole day she's going to do X Y Z Z Z, instead of doing millions of things, focus specifically on one thing, get it finished, do the next thing. Again, the way in which the mind is works is that we'll feel happier when we start achieving little goals, and they will lead to the big things. But the more attention and focus we do it with, because that's what Dhyana Yoga is teaching us in chapter 6, the more attentive and focused we are, that's going to help us. So obviously Vaishnav Prabhu said that he was more distracted and doing lots and lots of different things, but that causes chaos and confusion. Whereas if we're attentive, focused, we've got our list to do, we do this, we do the most important thing, we work down, and however we do it, the attention focus is there. Therefore, our level of happiness, satisfaction at the end of the day, like what Mataji was saying, even when she's chanting, every day she was just focused on whatever her list of thing or whatever her thing at work was. But actually, if she's just attention focused, that would reduce that level, the anxiety, I suppose. Are you controlled by fear or inspired by dreams? And again, this is important, like have a bigger goal, because otherwise we're controlled by fear. And that's what these jobs, especially jobs, are doing. Or if you're just not even working, you know, we might be controlled by fear, like if we don't do this. But actually, like Gaurangi Mataji, you know, if you just see how the way she looks after her deities, and she's so absorbed in that because she's inspired by her spiritual goal. So keep, whether it's a spiritual goal, whether it's a material, be inspired, like keep thinking. It's the mindset, because that's what Krishna is trying to teach, isn't he? Like the mindset, especially in the first few kind of chapters. Overthink, do we overthink and procrastinate? So do we keep thinking and then we just leave everything, or do we analyze and articulate what it is, and then we can again move forward with it quicker? Are we rigid and attached to certain things, or are we flexible and detached? So this is the main thing again about Bhagavad Gita. It's teaching us that whatever our goals are, whatever our aspirations are, be flexible with them and be detached. So, you know, it could be that we're going to exercise 1 hour a day, and, you know, one day it doesn't happen. Instead of being really rigid and really attached and beating ourselves up, oh, I didn't do it, and don't be like that. Just be flexible. Okay, it didn't happen. All right, tomorrow I'll put it into place. And maybe if I can't do an hour, I'll do like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and be detached. Do it, let it go. Because like Geshe Maharaj says, the first 6 chapters, the Karma Yoga in Bhagavad Gita, that it teaches us how to live, like especially with the mind. The next 6 chapters teach us how to love, because it's about devotion, and that's from our heart. So all our relationship goals, equally our relationship with Krishna, the main one, would just give it that bhav, give it that space, because in the chaos of the mind, we have to be able to close that down so that we can still give Krishna our bhav and our love, because that's where the love needs to be directed, so that all the other things will then become easier. And so the first 6 chapters teach us how to live, how to actually control this, you know, how do we function in this world with our job, our duties, our thinking. The next 6 chapters, like from 7 to 12, teach us about love, devotion, and really that deeper connection of knowing who Krishna is, and building that relationship continuously. And those actions are unmotivated and unalloyed devotion. It's continuous, and these are going to bring the big life changes, and it's going to help you achieve a better, higher stage of of your evolution. And then the last 6 chapters are about letting go. So this detachment, we're flexible, we're detached, and we can do that if we have a balanced lifestyle, which Krishna is teaching about in the last 6 chapters. You know, sleeping properly, eating properly, at least in Sattva Gun, having a regulated lifestyle, avoiding certain things. And, you know, these are the things that are going to create a more successful, all-rounded, we're going to be able to see the difference, and we're going to be able to feel the difference. And hopefully some of those things that we are going through, some of the problems, will hopefully be eliminated over the next year or so. So I think I'm going to end there. Sorry, if anybody would like to share any of the things that they might want to achieve, it would be lovely to hear different people's takes on some of the things they want to achieve next year. So basically, we want to create a life that feels good on the inside. It shouldn't, not that it looks good on the outside. And we have to use the mind. The mind is not the root. The mind is just there to navigate whatever we want to do. But it's the root of our consciousness. it's like it's a journey. It's just a little, there's a the mind helps us to understand our consciousness. We want to, like, again, create a life that feels good. So let's work on the inside. Like, everything external is happening, but do we feel good inside? Yeah, it's Krishna consciousness is about feeling good inside as well. And do we identify with the mind, or do we just, as long as we can just see the mind is there, it will help you with whatever you need to achieve. So make it your friend, and then stop the mind from staying away. So we do need to use the mind. So we need to think about how we're going to use that. Um, and we have to reawaken our love. So love is an action. It's about being content. Um, and again, about really deepening that love through the life that we're living and the things that we're going through in our everyday life. So yeah, would anyone like to share something they might like to achieve next year? Anyone? Prabhavati Mataji, this is one for you, I think. Configure energy. So we need energy. So instead of just going with what the latest thing is, if we can synchronize ourselves with the cosmic energy, that will help our energy and we'll feel more energetic. Especially when we've got like pain or something like that. We should always wake up early, and we should always make sure that our connection with Krishna is always strong, so that we're guided, and this will result in a level of success for us. Nobody wants to share anything that they might want to achieve next year, something? Gaurangitaji, something you would like to achieve in the new, what are your wishes for
Mataji, I
2025?
don't have anything, Mataji. Both are Mataji sharing their. I don't know what they're saying. I don't have anything, Mataji. Sorry about that. So everybody, Happy New Year.
Yeah, so the
Yeah, we will
Mataji,
get more bhakti in 2025. Then going together somewhere, all of our sangha. I wish that.
yeah, there's a nice goal to think about. We'll all go somewhere. Yeah, that's definitely amazing. Thank you so much. So if there's nothing else, would Supriya Mataji, would you be kind enough to sing us out with Nashingadev prayers?
Yes, Mataji, I can sing. Yeah. Okay. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Praladadayine.
Praladadayine.
Hiranyakashipu Vrakshaka.
Hiranyakashipurvakshaha.
Shilatankanakalaye.
Shrilatankanakalaye.
Ito Narsimho Parato Narsimho.
Ito Narsimho Parato Narsimho.
Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimho.
यतो
यतो यामिततो नरसिंहो
बाहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
बाहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये
नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे
तव करकमलवरे नाकाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु अनुबृङ्गां केशवधीर्ता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
तव करकमलवरे नाकाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गां केशवदीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशवदीर्ता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
तव करकमलवरे नाकाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गां केशवदीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज
जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल
नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल
श्री श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की
जय
भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की
जय
शिल प्रभुपाद की
जय
कोटि वैष्णव की
Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So that was just a little end of 2024, just so that we can be positive and do things a little bit differently in 2025 to keep our devotion and obviously our material journeys which they still are there. So to keep them kind of moving in the right direction. And I pray that Lord is like very merciful to us, because and that we can be successful both materially and spiritually, um, because we are in this world that we have to be able to function in, and that he gives us the intelligence so we can like keep going deeper into this knowledge. And really, if we can focus on feeling good inside, so yes, of course the outside has to feel good as well, but if we feel good inside, and the spiritual life is meant to make us feel like that, so we should be able to feel good whether we're at work, whether we're doing our normal chores. We should be able to feel good inside, and I pray that the inside we can like transform even deeper and better. So as we connect with Krishna and our love and devotion increases, but also the feeling inside us also improves, and we have greater happiness and joy in our life. So that actually it's from inside, it's coming from inside where Krishna is residing, and we're creating that inner Vrindavan within ourselves, where Krishna is able to live within us in a really happy environment. So obviously the external is there, but we creating the happiness inside. Okay, so happy New Year for tomorrow, and here's to a great, beautiful 2025.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Wish you Happy New
Wish you
Year.
Happy New Year
Happy
too.
New Year.
Gaurangi Mataji, wish you a Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Same to you, Mataji.
Happy New Year. So, Panchakalpa Tarobhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Om.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Happy Krishna Conscious New Year.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Haribol.
Hare Bol.
Hari